Grid Hollow, a fable of glitches, guts, and good old grit. In the buzzing hills of Grid Hollow, the world has gone wonderfully, amazingly digital. Machines hummed, apps answered before you asked, and every light in every home knew just when you liked it turned on. People lived in ease, devices ran the show, and most people didn't remember how things worked, only that they did. Until one Tuesday, and they didn't. It began with a twitch, a hiccup, then total silence. The transport drone dropped mid-route. Smart ovens went cold mid-samosa. Files blinked out of existence. And even the Queen's security gates refused to open because, of course, they were voice activated and the voices just weren't listening. Chaos! And no one knew why. Queen Rena summoned her High Council. At the front stood Professor Omran Gigabit, draped in flowing fibre optic robes, backed by his loyal AI Z. Omran had once declared, "With enough data, even destiny is predictable." Now he looked worried, but not defeated. "Give me access," he boomed, "and I'll have it fixed before the kettle boils." But in the wings of the palace, a quieter figure stood. Her name was Noor Protocol, calm, measured, and unshakably human. Noor was one of the last people in Grid Hollow who still carried a manual and a toolkit. She warned of a day like this. Now, she said simply, it's not just about getting things back online, it's about knowing what to do when they aren't. Two camps emerged quite quickly. The Tech First collective, led by Omran and Z. They believed every glitch had a digital solution, more code, better algorithms, and smarter AI. And then there was the Keepers of the Craft, led by Noor, trained and taught human skills, manual methods, cross-generational training, and critical thinking. Systems fail, Noor said. Humans can't afford to. Queen Rena, raised on tech convenience, watched with a furrowed brow. Was it sabotage, a solar event, a rogue AI update? Z scanned all known threats and returned a report. All diagnostics normal, failure source unknown. Murmurs rippled through the court. Noor shook her head. Then it's time we prepare for the unknown. While the Tech First Collective rebooted servers, refreshed firewalls, Noor and her keepers got to work. Lena, the 17-year-old apprentice, hand-delivered messages between town sectors. Tarek, a retired engineer, restarted a power grid manually with paper schematics and elbow grease. Mia, a school teacher, wrote lessons on chalkboards explaining how satellites once worked before they blinked out. Arav, a baker's son, joined Noor to create a knowledge circle, training young and old in first response tech skills and off-grid alternatives. And slowly and quietly, Grid Hollow adapted, not with panic, but with people. On the third day of darkness, a familiar wind whispered through the village trees. Gia Greenbite, protector of the planet and patron of conscious tech, emerged from the forest. You've built a world full of marvels, she said, but perhaps forgot to build people to stand beside them. She knelt beside a child, tying knots for emergency signal flags. This, she whispered, is the future you forgot until now. Eventually, the power trickled back. Maybe Omran's reboot worked. Maybe Z fixed a fatal bug. Or maybe the system simply rested and came back like a grumpy dragon. No one knows. What mattered more than this? Grid Hollow didn't wait to be rescued. They trained, they taught, they shared what had nearly been lost. Queen Rena signed a decree. Every school shall teach not just how to use tech, but what to do when it disappears. We must grow people, not just platforms. The new wisdom of Grid Hollow. Number 1, tech is brilliant, but it breaks. 2, the real risk, thinking it never will. 3, skill beats panic, always. 4, don't just build bots, train people. 5, when data vanishes, humans remain. 6, the future isn't in automation, it's in adaptation. So now, in Grid Hollow, the lights are on again, but behind every glowing screen, there's someone trained to ask, what if the grid collapses again? And someone else ready to answer. Then we begin with grit, with skill, and with each other. The end.